I can't hear you. How many of you know that God is a God of big promises? Can I get what you're excited about that? God's got some promises for us. So let's sing this truth. I'm gonna wait for the walls to fall. I can't hear you. I know a name that will bring them down. I've got a praise, it's waking within my soul. I'm not ashamed to declare it now. He's the light of the world. Light of the world, you trample the darkness. Come on. Nothing can stop it. You are the God of the promise. Every word will be accomplished. Nothing can stop it. You are the God of the promise. All right, let's go. Here we go. Prepare the way. Prepare the way. The King of glory comes. And before his name, every fear must bow. No more fear. And throw off your chains. Jesus destroyed them all. Up from the grave, he is with us. Give it all you got. Light of the world, you trample the darkness. Nothing can stop it. You are the God of the promise. Every word will be accomplished. Nothing can stop it. You are the God of the promise. The Bible says that Jesus, when he died on the cross and he rose again, that means that he was victorious over the enemy and over the gates of hell. That means nothing can touch him. The gates of hell will never stand a chance. Your name prevails. Jesus, the great I am. No word will fail. No weapon formed against your name prevails. Jesus, the great I am. The gates of hell will never. Do you believe that? Your name prevails. Jesus, the great I am. No word will fail. No weapon formed against your name prevails. Jesus, the great I am. Come on, let's go. Light of the world, you trample the darkness. Nothing can stop it. You are the God of the promise. Every word will be accomplished. Nothing can stop it. You are the God of the promise. Come on, can we get excited because of God's promises? Come on, I can't hear you. Let's get excited about what Jesus did on the cross. Come on.
All right, guys, we're just going to lean in. We're excited. We love what Jesus did for us. We're just going to lean into that this morning. Focus our hearts on him. God, I believe there's a breakthrough in this place, and I want to see you move.
There must be more beyond familiar shores, into waters unexplored. This one desire is stirring here in me, as deep as calling out to deep. Take me from where I've been into something new. I'm giving up control. I need a breakthrough. All of my dreams and fears are crashing into you. seems the impossible. And it's so amazing how you take the ashes and turn them into beautiful. Take me from where I've been into something new. I'm giving up control. I need a breakthrough. All of my dreams and fears crashing into you. You're waking up my hope. You are my breakthrough.
Come on, Jesus.
All of our dreams and fears are crashing into you, Jesus. Just like Josh talked about last night when he had to give up basketball.
Amen,
God
amen.
brought in such good things for
That's
his
what's
life.
up.
Amen? Come on.
That's
You want
what's
that?
up.
You're making all things new. You're making all things new. It's what you always do. You are my breakthrough. You're making all things new. You're making all things new. It's what you always do. You are my breakthrough. You're making all things new. You're making all things new. It's what you always do. You are my breakthrough. You're making all things new. You're making all things new. It's what you always do. You are my breakthrough. Take me from where I've been into something new. I'm giving up control. You need a breakthrough. All of my dreams and fears are crashing into you. You're waking up my hope. You are my breakthrough. Take me from where I've been into something new. I'm giving up control. I need a breakthrough. All of my dreams and fears are crashing into you. You're waking up my hope. You are my
Guys, let this be your prayer today.
Take me from where I've been into something new. I'm giving up control. I need a breakthrough. All of my dreams and fears, they're crashing into you. You're waking up my hope. You are my breakthrough. Jesus, come break through.
Awesome. Woo! Thanks for worshiping with us, you guys. Go ahead and have a seat, and we'll welcome our next speaker to the stage.
When this morning's speaker was a child, his parents wanted him to be a lawyer, but he objected and became awesome instead. He and his wife Ashley have been married for 13 years and have 2 amazing daughters. Seriously, like they do gymnastics and stuff. Our speaker says that the greatest accomplishment in his life was beating Ashley Wydick in a game of one-on-one basketball. And we know that because he never stops talking about it. You probably know him, you may even like him. Please welcome to the stage, Brandon Hare.
All right.
Shout out to Ashley Wydick for always making me feel good about myself.
You a real one. All right, so I just want to ask you a couple questions.
Yeah, let's do
we
it.
know you, we
Sure.
see you,
Yeah,
but I've got some hard-hitting stuff. We're
Let's
going to
do
dig
it.
deep today.
journalism.
Okay. First question.
Okay,
Why are you not a woman named Hannah Gerasi?
that is a fair question. That's a fair question. Most people would recognize that immediately. So if you didn't, if you were confused, I get it. So we booked an awesome speaker named Hannah Gerasi to come out from California to preach for us. She was going to talk about breakthrough, breaking through some amazing things in amazing ways. And unfortunately, circumstances being what they are, she has COVID. So she texted us on Thursday and was like, hey, this is a text message I never wanted to send, but we can't make it. And so I am standing in as a hopefully solid silver medal.
Come on, woo!
Silver.
All right. Hard-hitting question number 2.
All right.
What is your third favorite dinosaur?
Triceratops, easy.
Whoa,
Yeah.
That was quick. Do you
Yeah.
have a breakdown?
Oh, sure. Blue from Jurassic Park, regular Tyrannosaurus Rex, Triceratops, Stegosaurus.
Solid.
Triceratops
Man
has the
knows what
3
he likes.
horns, so it makes sense to be in that third spot.
Yes, because it mathematically checks
Yeah.
out. I get
Yes.
it. You want to know what my favorite dinosaur is?
Sure.
It's actually like a toy of a dinosaur. It's a Triceratops,
Okay.
but it holds tacos.
A Tacosaurus.
It's a Tricerataco.
Tricerataco. Okay.
Yeah, can't go wrong if it
Yes.
involves tacos. Me, you know I love tacos.
Okay, I was hoping you were going to say that your favorite dinosaur was like a digital pet that you had to like take
that my
care of and
supervisor
raise,
might have
and
gotten
raise
me
as
for
your own.
Christmas.
But hey, you know what? Tacos trump everything. I get it.
I mean, steak tacos. Where's
Oh, yes.
where's the guys that were like, that's the move? What was that last night? You guys were
That's
saying.
what's up.
That's what's up. Where's my that's what's up, guys? There we go. All right. Okay, so I have another question for you, but before we do that, I want to play a game.
I heard someone say banana though. You know what? Here's the thing. I think that banana thing has been up there a couple of times, and I've heard it from all across the room. So I just think that maybe like
A blanket.
a 1,000 points to everyone. There we
We'll
go.
take it.
And 20,000 points to Dynasty. Sorry, I don't have that.
That
Okay,
ain't
I get it. You don't have that kind of authority. Okay, I get it. It's fine. In my heart, though.
All right, so
In
we're
my
gonna
heart.
play a game. You
Let's
down?
do it. I
Okay.
love games.
So we're gonna have a drawing competition.
Okay.
But the catch is because we all know that I would crush you in a drawing
Okay,
competition.
let's not get hasty.
Come on. The catch is that we are not going to look at our whiteboards. We have to make
Okay.
eye contact the whole
This
time.
is going to be fun.
So, something from the crowd. What should we draw?
A banana. You said a banana.
I heard taco.
I heard taco also.
I heard
Okay, we're
taco.
doing
Okay.
tacos.
Well, I told you guys, you can't go
All
wrong
right.
with tacos.
Here we go.
All right, here we go. You ready?
Yeah, we're doing it.
Oh gosh, I have to hold my mic and do this. No, let's
And
put
that,
it
or we're
down.
just putting them down. Okay, we're putting them down. We'll be right back. Okay, I'm happy with what I have here.
Why does your taco have legs?
Just wait for it, okay? Wait for it.
All right, are you ready?
Guys, it's the Tacosaurus. And also, this was my attempt at a banana because I thought I was going to lose points because she also drew a banana.
My banana's dope.
Oh, okay. So, anywho,
All right, so here's my taco. I want to explain. It's obviously a
explaining
crispy
to do.
corn taco.
right.
It's
I
got
see the same with the
texture.
textures,
Yeah,
and I got
same.
some lettuce.
Okay, we got some lettuce, little dollop of sour cream on top, little garnish, leaf of lettuce underneath.
Okay. Underneath? No one does that.
If they fancy, you do.
No,
Pinky out. This is a pinky out taco, ladies and
I
gentlemen.
don't like it.
All right,
No authentic taco would have a piece of lettuce under it.
all right. Here we go.
I think that's going to be hard to come back from, Glebs.
All right.
It was the Tacosaurus. You can't compete with a Tacosaurus. Oh, technically the guest. I'm the visiting team. Okay.
So.
All right. I get it. Take what you.
I thought
take
they'd
what
be
you can.
nicer to the new lady, but they're not.
Oh, you're here now. The newness wears off
Thanks.
quick. It wears off quick. Like when I started, it was like, "Who are you?" And then all of a sudden, it was just like, "Yeah, you've been here. Shut up.
whatever.
We don't care."
I think
So-
there's a sweet spot at like
Yeah.
10 weeks or so, and then after that.
It's just like, "Oh,
Yeah.
she's been here." Yeah. All right.
Okay,
So what are we doing?
here's the challenge. We are gonna draw each other
Yeah, we are.
without looking at our board.
Okay. All right. Okay, guys, here we go. Why don't you, since I'm up by 1, you go ahead and reveal yours first. Let's see. That's not bad. You got the beard and everything.
You'll
yeah.
note that there are tears because you always cry when you preach.
Wow. Okay. Also, though, just speaking of that, I would recommend the under today.
Oh yeah?
Oh yeah.
It's gonna be a good one, y'all. All right, let's see.
All right, I might need some help from my homies in the back for this one.
Here's
what
you go
we
before
got.
yourself right now?
Here's what I got. Steve, if you guys can show my inspo on this. This is what we're going for, and I think I nailed it.
Where's my hair?
It's under. It was
Okay,
under because of the
listen,
side shaves, and
listen.
I'm pretty. Look, there's a microphone.
But it's not.
It's because it's a 2D picture,
Neither
Melissa.
of my arms are bent.
But you did.
Dude, you were talking a big game about your texture on the taco, and you
This
have
is inspired
no
by
texture
real
on
life
that.
events. I don't smile and cry at the same time.
Yes, you do.
Okay.
I've seen it happen. All right.
Okay,
All
fair
right.
enough.
I think I might be offended.
I know how to appeal to my target demographic.
Oh.
Okay. I don't know.
That was a toss-up.
Let's try again. We need some unofficial, impartial judges. Obviously, the Dynasty team could be that judge.
No, they could not.
What? Why?
Bro, you're
For the
wearing
love.
you're like low key wearing yellow right now, and you had a whole lion shirt on
I'm
yesterday.
wearing red and black shoes. I didn't have a whole lion shirt on yesterday, okay? I had it on a Wednesday.
Whatever, you did.
I wore
it.
my breakthrough shirt yesterday like a good team player.
All right.
All right, let's
about
let
Storm?
Storm decide.
Okay, Storm's gonna decide. Okay.
Jenny. Jenny, I believe. Where's Jenny White? Can she stand up for a second?
Y'all
Jenny,
are
I
wild.
believe that you're fair and impartial. Who won? Who won? No, based on the screams. Based on the screams, you're not choosing. Based on volume. Oh, you got. If you
All right,
can't
all
get
right,
Jenny
all
to
right.
vote for you, then you didn't win.
Well, I suppose I'll admit defeat on this one.
I'm sorry. I thought it was going to be a closer game. I'm not sorry.
All right, you're not sorry. You're competitive. All right.
15,000 points for Stormy and Dynasty because I again, I don't have that kind of authority, so they took my point privileges away after the incident.
So you can't actually do it?
Right, that's what I'm
That's
saying.
funny. Okay, then I'm not
So-
offended. All right, well I'm gonna go ahead and pray for you.
Awesome.
Because, bro, you need it. And
At least my
we'll roll into this.
self-esteem's doing real well right
Real
now.
good?
Yeah.
Real good? All right. All
In the
right.
zone.
Okay, here we go. Heavenly Father, I just thank you for this morning. Thank you that we can enjoy this time of worship together. And I just pray blessing over everything that Brandon's going to speak for us today. And just pray that it's your words that come through him this morning. Give us ears to hear and hearts that receive what we learned this morning. We love you, Lord. It's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Hey, what's up, everybody, once again? And we're back. How you doing this morning? Is everyone awake? I feel like this is kind of like the most hype a morning session of anything has ever been, you know? And I've been to some hype morning sessions of things, but you guys are really bringing it this morning, and that's awesome. So as I said earlier, I encourage you guys to take the under on this message. If you know what that means, it means a lot of times on Wednesday nights, if I'm preaching, they will establish a time, like 7 minutes, okay? And you get to pick over or under. If you pick the under, if I cry sooner than 7 minutes into the message, you win. And if I last longer than that, then you lose, and vice versa. Okay, so I don't know what the official over-under is on this one. It's probably like Tom Brady's rushing yards in the Super Bowl. It's pretty low. It's pretty low. So here's what we're going to do today. I'm going to tell you guys a little story. And by a little story, I mean it actually happened over the last couple of days. And then we're going to talk about Jesus. So I'm glad you're with me. And also, we're streaming this online to the YouTubes. So can we turn around and just say hey to everybody that's online, just like wave to the back? Specifically, we got some throwback Calvary folks. Evan Jones, Amber Colclaser, we love you guys. Welcome in. We're so glad you're here. Ethan Jones, sorry, I think I said that wrong. My bad. Fake news. So, hey, here's what happened. Yesterday, I got a text message, and it was one of those, right? It was one of those text messages that you don't want to get, and it started like this. Hey again, this is the worst text I've had to send a long time, and I feel absolutely awful about it. But I think I'm going to need to back out of physically attending Winter Escape. I'm feeling far worse at this point, and at this point, my symptoms are looking more and more like COVID. I acknowledge that this is super disappointing, and again, I apologize. Love dearly, Hannah DeRossi. And so, that text thread kind of continued back and forth as we sort of talked about some options, and I said these words to her. You're the worst. No, I didn't say that. I didn't say that. I said, this is not your fault. Don't stress out. We're praying for you. And as soon as those words exited my thumbs, because I was texting, I began to immediately freak out and get stressed over this moment, this like literally that's happening as we speak. So I freaked out. Why? Why did I do that? Because I like to be prepared. If you know anything about the Enneagram, I'm a 3. I live and die by a checklist. If you ask me to do something, it doesn't make it onto the checklist, it's not happening, and it doesn't count. Like, my wife knows this about me. She's like, did you put it on your list? Because she knows that I can't be held accountable for anything I agree to that doesn't go on the checklist. So a little pro tip for any of you guys who ask me for favors, be like, did you put it on the list? And if I say no, it's basically that I'm saying no to what you asked me to do. But I freaked out because I want to be prepared. I don't ever want to get up here and not have put in the work to really try and represent the gospel well. It's a huge deal. It's a huge privilege and honor for me to be able to stand up and preach from this book, from this collection of scriptures. It matters that much. And so to me, I immediately got super stressed out. And I'm like, oh my gosh, there's so many logistics things left for Winter Escape. I'm trying to memorize a spoken word piece. Obviously, most of you figured out that did not happen. You were calling me out during the thing, but hey, I stayed in the zone. I heard you. But anyway, I digress. all these logistics kept piling up, and I continued to get more and more stressed out. But I was like, if I just work harder and if I just work faster, I can make it happen. I can create something. I can pull together all this knowledge and experience that I have and turn it into something that's worthwhile. But here's the truth, friends, because what I was trying to do was manufacture a moment that would lead you to a place of breakthrough. I was trying to use my own skills, my own strength, my own power to create something that would invite you to a new level of relationship with Jesus. And I think that is a pretty awesome goal, but I failed in one area. And it's this. And if you can remember nothing else today, remember this. Breakthrough doesn't come from a person. It comes from God. And I tried to write him out of the equation. I was like, I can do this. I can make it work. You know, I talked to Ryan. I was like, Hannah's out. I don't know what to do. He's like, oh, it's not a big deal. We got this. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. It's not a big deal. We got this. We're going to do it. And then I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm the only one. I'm freaking out alone. This is cool. I love it. But I remember telling her, it's not your fault. Don't stress out. And I said these words. I said, God will have his way. And she's like, yes, he will. But then I didn't live that. I didn't trust God to have his way. I trusted Brandon to push his agenda. And literally, it wasn't until this very morning. I got here at like 5:50, which is gross. I was sitting in my office alone. No one was here. And I had this sermon that I had written. And I was reading it, and I'm like, this is terrible. I'm like, I can fix it. I can get into it. I can fix it. 5:50 becomes 6 o'clock. I can fix it. I can make it work. It's going to work. 6:10, I can make it work. We're getting closer. 6:20, select all, delete. I'm like, okay. It's that point when it hit me that it wasn't about me. It was that point when I heard God say, do you trust me or not? And I was like, yes. I mean, I think so. Yeah, right? Yeah, I do. And I'm like, I'm not trying to get married here. I'm trying to decide if I trust Jesus to do what he says he's going to do or trust God to show up in the way that he's going to show up. And so finally I was like, you know what? I do. And it was in that moment that I deleted all of it and realized that due to circumstances beyond our control, this is where I'm at. In this moment, right here, right now. And I felt like all of a sudden I didn't know what to do with the circumstances. Like all these things are happening around me and I have no control over it, but everyone's looking at me like, what are we gonna do? How do we fix it? And I'm like, I don't know, ask that guy. But have you ever like run into a circumstances beyond our control situation? Yeah, everyone has, right? There's a few. Here's an example of one. Due to circumstances beyond our control, our butler and maid have resigned. Your cooperation in helping keep this place clean will be greatly appreciated. Signed, every mom on the planet. Yeah. All right, what's the next one? We got another one. Dear Redheads, it is with heavy heart, so we must announce that due to circumstances beyond our control, we must cancel our planned event for the 16th of May, 2020. Blah, blah, blah. So if you're not a redhead, you can still go, but all the redheads have to stay home. Sad news, right? Where the redheads at? Oh. Anyway. Oh, they saw this before? They thought we've made a terrible mistake. All right, last one. Here's another one. This one's great. I love this one a lot. Maybe? Is there not a third? Oh, my bad. I don't know what happened. I thought I sent 3, but one, it was like a picture of a piece of paper at a cash register in like a restaurant. And it said, due to circumstances beyond our control, all meals will now be served on plates. We're sorry if this ruins your experience. And my question is, right? Exactly. I'm like, I don't know, is this a Stella's situation? It was like everything comes in a napkin, or I don't know. And apologize was spelled wrong also, so it would have been real funny, but due to circumstances beyond my control, the internet did not cooperate this morning. But anyway. But here's the truth. This is funny, right? It's fun to see like, oh, due to circumstances beyond our control, this thing's hard. Or due to circumstances beyond our control, here we are, blah, blah, blah. It's funny because there are tons of circumstances that are beyond our control, right? Some of you might be in this room right now due to circumstances beyond your control. Some of you might be here because your parents made you. Some of you might be here because your best friend dragged you kicking and screaming. And you're like, due to circumstances beyond my control, I'm listening to this guy talk right now. I get that. Due to circumstances beyond my control, I am that guy talking right now. But here we are. Here we are. But the truth is that there are plenty of circumstances beyond our control, but there are exactly 0 circumstances that are beyond God's control. And friends, breakthrough will happen when we believe that. And I'm not talking about this head knowledge. I'm talking about for real. We believe it for real. We believe that God is who he says he is. We believe that God who said and there is still the God who says and there is, right? Not just in our head, not just like, oh yeah, 2 + 2 is 4, but in our heart, where we live our life that way. You see, this morning, I was confronted with that question. Do you believe I am who I say I am? And my head immediately said yes, but my heart was like, hold up. We need to make sure. We need to make sure. And it's hard for me to stand up here and admit that to you. But man, this is a broken place, right? A broken world. And we've all got struggles. We've all got things. And I've had God show up at so many points in my life, and yet I just kind of forget. I forget the bigger deals where he's shown himself to be faithful because I get so focused on what's right here that I forget that there is a God who actually loves me, who actually cares for me, and who will actually see through the work that he started. And I don't believe for a second that God intended to waste this moment. I don't believe for a second that God intended to waste this session or this weekend. And I don't believe for a single second that God's going to let something as weak as COVID stop him from showing up in your life this weekend and taking you to a place of breakthrough. Yes, let's go. So here we go. We're going to start now. If you got your Bibles, open it up to 2 Kings chapter 5. 2 Kings is one of my favorite books of the Bible. If you haven't read it in a while, a lot of it is about this prophet named Elisha who does some just crazy things. Crazy things. Like there's this poisonous stew, and he like makes it not poison. And someone loses the head of their axe in a lake, and he makes it float. And I don't know if you know anything about axes, but they're made of steel. If you know anything about steel, it doesn't float. Elisha was just a baller, okay? And he's in this story, but this story is not about him. We're going to go chapter 5. We're going to read verses 1 through 17. But you know how I do. I'm going to read some, going to talk about it a little bit, going to read a little more, going to talk about it a little bit. And just like Josh said last night, if you wish to respond, feel free, okay? I love it. I love it. Here we go. 2 Kings chapter 5, verse 1, it says, Now Naaman was commander of the army of the king of Aram. He was a great man in the sight of his master and highly regarded because through him the Lord had given victory to Aram. He was a valiant soldier. Sounds pretty good. This guy's got it going on, right? Like he's got it all figured out. There's some great descriptors of him here. Great man, highly regarded, valiant soldier. All good things, right? There's a comma there because the sentence isn't over. Here's the rest of it. But he had leprosy. Ouch. I mean, this dude was legit. He had it all going for him, except he had leprosy. And I don't know what you're dealing with right now, but I would imagine that as Josh talked about captions last night in your own inner voice, you might have gotten yourself to a place where you're like, yes, these things are true of me and these things are good. But I still have this other thing that I'd rather not talk about. I want all that other stuff to be big and in the front of the sentence, but then there's this other thing that I have. And if you don't know about leprosy, it's an extinct disease now, I think, for the most part. It still exists in some parts of the world. Here, you probably can't get it. But it was a skin disease, and it started as red sores on your body. And at first, it's kind of like a rash, and you're just like, oh, that's not cool. But then those sores would kind of turn white and flaky, and your skin would start to kind of fall off. And after that, like, your hair would start to fall out. And that was like, those were the good things about leprosy. Because then, like, your joints would, like, get loose and fail. And after that happened, like, parts would start falling off. Like fingers, toes, your nose could fall off, your ears. Like, yeah, right? That's the picture of leprosy. It's not a good look. Not a good look. And it was incurable and thought to be highly contagious. So you've got this man who's this valiant soldier, this leader, who has this incurable, highly contagious disease, which would, in effect, remove all the good things about this guy, and all of a sudden, he's not a highly regarded, great man, valiant soldier. He's just a leper. He's just a guy who has leprosy. And so for him, like, this guy with all of his money, with all of his power, with all of his influence, there was nothing he could do to save himself. So the only move there was to cover it up for as long as you can. So he'd start wearing, like, bigger clothes in the summertime, probably put some gloves on, like face masks, basically like right now. So if you guys had leprosy, probably no one would know for a long time. So he tried to cover it up. So let's see what would happen next. This guy's got leprosy. Things are not going well. And so in verse 2, it says this, kind of changes the subject for a second. Now, bands of raiders from Aram, that's where he's from, had gone out and taken captive a young girl from Israel, and she served Naaman's wife. She said to her mistress, if only my master would see the prophet who is in Samaria, he would cure him of his leprosy. So Samaria was in Israel. That was the capital of Israel. And she's like, hey, listen, you should go to this prophet in Israel, and he can fix it. So we got this servant girl who has a plan, right? And let's call it what it is. Servant girl is like a nice Bible term. She was a slave. She had been stolen from her home in a war, and she was now a slave to these people. So the fact that she was a female and that she was a slave meant she had no voice, no influence, no power, and literally like no right to even speak. And thank God that's not how the world is today. And if you ever find yourself in such a situation, like, fight that. That's not the move. So she doesn't even have a name in the story. She's just like servant girl number 2. So the fact that Naaman ever even gets the message is a miracle in and of itself. Because she didn't tell Naaman directly, she told his wife. She's like, hey, maybe you should tell him to go to Samaria. And for whatever reason, the wife passed that along. So just understand the desperation that's happening here. Story continues, verse 4. Naaman went to his master and told him what the girl from Israel had said. And he said, by all means, go. I will send a letter to the king of Israel. So Naaman left, taking with him 10 talents of silver, 6,000 shekels of gold, and 10 sets of clothing. The letter that he took to the king of Israel read, with this letter, I am sending my servant Naaman to you so that you may cure him of his leprosy. So Naaman goes to the king, and he's like, hey, this like servant girl that we have, this slave, who's this nameless, voiceless slave, she told me about some prophet in our enemy country. Like, I know we hate them, but she says that they can cure my leprosy. So what do you think? And the king says, by all means, go. And the king gives him $1.2 million of today's currency. Right? $1.2 million in today's currency to go and see if maybe they can help him. They were desperate. Verse 7, as soon as the king of Israel read the letter, so Naaman's gone to Israel now, he's in front of the king, he gave him the letter. So as soon as the king of Israel read the letter, he tore his robes and said, am I God? Can I kill and bring back to life? Why does this fellow send someone to me to be cured of his leprosy? See how he's trying to pick a quarrel with me? So like I said, they're enemies, right? Aram, Israel. Aram sends their one of their highest ranking soldiers with a letter that says, hey, can you cure this guy's leprosy? The king of Israel reads it and thinks it's so ridiculous that the only logical conclusion is they want to fight. I'm going to tell this guy no. I'm going to send him back empty-handed with his $1.2 million, flex, okay. And they're going to invade us because we wouldn't help. That's what's happening. That's got to be what's happening. That's the only logical explanation this king can see. Verse 8, when Elisha, we talked about him a few minutes ago, when Elisha, the man of God, heard that the king of Israel had torn his robes, he sent him this message. Why have you torn your robes? Have the man come to me, and he will know that there is a prophet in Israel. So Naaman went with his horses and chariots and stopped at the door of Elisha's house. Elisha sent a messenger to him to say, go, wash yourself 7 times in the Jordan, and your flesh will be restored, and you will be clean. So Elisha says, hey, king, listen, send him to me. I'll take care of it. Low-key, this is a dig at the king's lack of power because of the king's lack of faith. Israel was God's chosen people. And God was like, if you do these things, I will do these things. And there will be a God in Israel who the world will know is sovereign over all. So the fact that the king didn't even know that it was possible to cure this man's leprosy shows that he had turned from his faith and he had turned away from the Lord. The king lacked power because he lacked trust in God. And I was right there this morning. But Elisha says, send him to me, I'll take care of it. I'll prove that God is who he says he is. So the guy goes, and Elisha sends a guy. He doesn't even come out of the house. He sends a guy. He's like, hey, just go tell him to wash in the Jordan. It's fine. Just go tell him to get wet 7 times. No, wait, no 7. Let's go with 7. 7's good. Let's pick 7. So the guy goes, he tells Naaman all of this. I knew that was going to happen. It's so close. And it was like, Nathan, go take a shower in the Jordan. The guy goes and tells him, and here's what Naaman's response is. But Naaman went away angry and sad. Oh, angry and sad. He was probably sad too. I thought that he would surely come out to me and stand and call on the name of the Lord his God, wave his hand over the spots and cure my leprosy. Are not Abana and Pharpar, the rivers of Damascus, better than all the waters in Israel? Couldn't I wash in them and be cleansed? So he turned and went off in a rage. You have leprosy. Here's how you fix it. Thanks, but no, I'm angry. What? You ever been so desperate that you try anything to fix it? I hope not. It's not a good look. This guy obviously wasn't quite there. He got so mad. You know why? Because his expectations were unmet. He was this big, powerful man, and he wanted a big, powerful show. He wanted respect from Elisha. He wanted Elisha to get up off the couch and come out and call down fire from heaven and burn away the leprosy, but leave Naaman standing there like a boss, like he just walked through this fire and came out unscathed because he was so big and powerful. But that's not how God works. But Naaman's response was, I didn't come all this way to be told to take a bath in the Jordan River, no less. That's beneath me. It's beneath who I am. And side note, middle school boys, if all you hear this weekend is take a bath, it could be a win. But here's the deal. That was like being told to go bathe in the Missouri River. Yeah, right? Well, you'd be like, I went in with leprosy, but I came out with salmonella, ringworm, giardia, norovirus. It was just a great day. It's a great day at the office. So he left in a rage. Can I challenge your thinking for a second? Some of you have become so accustomed to living with the negative circumstances in your life that when someone shows you a simple solution, you get angry instead of getting well. Because these circumstances have become part of your identity, because the hard things in your life have become part of who you are, you wear them like a source of pride. Like, look at me, I'm enduring, I'm fighting through it. And someone says, here's a way to make it better. And you get angry instead of getting well. Thank God Naaman wasn't traveling alone. Verse 13, Naaman's servants went to him and said, my father, if the prophet had told you to do some great thing, would you not have done it? How much more then when he tells you to wash and be cleansed? So he went down and dipped himself in the Jordan 7 times, as the man of God had told him, and his flesh was restored. And pay attention to this part. It became clean like that of a young boy. Became clean like that of a young boy. So Naaman finally does what Elisha tells him to do. He finally goes and he gets in the water. He dips himself 7 times. He gets wet. He gets out. And it says that his skin was like that of a child. So God cured the leprosy, but he also cured the acne, removed any moles, zits, blackheads, freckles, scratches, scrapes, scars. This man was completely restored and completely made new from dirty water in a nasty river. You know why that river was chosen if it was dirty and nasty? Because it wasn't about the river. It wasn't about the water. There was nothing in that physically was going to fix him. It was about God showing up. And if God can show up in a filthy, dirty, diseased water pool, then he can show up in your life for sure. Sometimes when we humble ourselves and let God work, he shows up in bigger ways than we thought possible. Naaman just wanted the leprosy gone. But he came out looking like a male model. You know what I mean? Like smooth, baby smooth skin, beautiful complexion, all of his fingers and toes. When we humble ourselves, God will show up in bigger ways than we thought possible. Here's how the story wraps up. Then Naaman and all of his attendants went back to the man of God, back to Elisha. He stood before him and said, "Now I know that there is no God in all the world except in Israel. So please accept a gift from your servant." The prophet answered, "As surely as the Lord lives, whom I serve, I will not accept a thing." And even though Naaman urged him, like, please take some of this money. The king gave me $1.2 million. You even want some of it. He urged him. Elisha refused. Check this part out. I love this part. "If you will not," said Naaman, "please let me, your servant, be given as much earth as a pair of mules can carry. For your servant will never again make burnt offerings and sacrifices to any other god but the Lord." He looks at Elisha and he says, "Listen, man, I'm going back. I'm going back to this place where all my problems started. I'm going back to this place that doesn't recognize your God, the God. I'm going back to this place where he doesn't exist. Can I have some dirt?" Sounds ridiculous, right? But here's what I see. I see a man who's willing to hold on to this experience at any cost. If I can just take the dirt back. And he said as much as 2 mules can carry, and I assume they were using a cart because mules don't have hands, so there had to be some tool involved. So I assume he loaded up 2 carts with a lot of dirt. And he probably took it back to his country, and he probably found a spot in his home or in his garden and put all of that dirt in a spot to represent the land of Israel, where he had just come from, to represent this land where he experienced God in a new and powerful and real way. And I imagine that Naaman would go there on a regular basis and kneel down and pray to this God that saved him, this God that restored him. I wish I could tell you that definitively, but we don't know. There's a little bit more about Naaman in a encounter with Elisha's servant. But after that, he's mentioned in the Old Testament as a callback to this story, but that's it. Or in the New Testament as a callback to this story, but that's it. We don't know anything else about Naaman's life. We don't know if he went home and thanked the servant girl. We don't know if she was elevated to a position of power or anything. We don't know. I assume he went home and lived his life and worshiped the Lord. But even with this brief story about Naaman, there's so much that we can learn about breakthrough. And there's so much that we can put into practice to invite God to break through in our lives every day. And here's what I notice about this story. First thing is this: breakthrough comes when we're honest about where we are. Breakthrough comes when we get honest about where we are. See, for me, I wasn't honest about where I was. I was in problem-solving mode. I was in fix-it mode. I was in, I've got this under control. I'm a 3 and people like me. That was the mode that I was in. That's where I was running from. And you know what? It's exhausting. I spent hours and hours getting nowhere. It was like a treadmill without the calories that were burned. It was pointless, except for the fact that it brought me to that place. It brought me to a place where I could be honest about where I was and say, God, I need you. I need you to show up. I need you to do this because I don't have it. I don't have what it takes. And he's like, yeah, duh. I got you. Breakthrough comes when we get honest about where we are. I was desperate, and God showed up. The second thing is this: breakthrough comes when we surround ourselves with the right people. Do you notice anything about who pointed Naaman in the right direction? It was the servants. It was the people that were in his life to serve him. And while that arrangement was a little bit different, there are people in your life that are here to serve you. There are people in your life that are here to point you towards Jesus. So it's not a question of, do you have the right people in your life? The fact that you are in this room means that you do have the right people in your life. So the real question is, are you willing to surround yourself with them? Not just physically, but emotionally, to let them pour into what God sees for you, to let them encourage you and help you move forward. Are you willing to surround yourself with the right people? The kind of people that love you but aren't all that impressed with you. The kind of people that will say, you need to change this about your life so that you can be more like Jesus. Are you willing to surround yourself with the right people? Because breakthrough comes when we surround ourselves with the right people. Man, thank God for me that I've done that in my life and their voices were loud this morning. My wife was like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? She actually asked me yesterday, she's like, you should probably pray about this. And I'm like, yeah, I'll get to that. And then this morning I'm sitting in my office and that voice, like, you should probably pray about this. And you're like, oh yeah, probably should. Breakthrough comes when we surround ourselves with the right people. These next 2 points are not on the screen. I sort of used it, but you know. Here's the next one. Breakthrough comes when we trust God with our circumstances. Breakthrough comes when we trust God with our circumstances. For me, it looked like a last-minute text message that drastically altered the course of my weekend. But it took me way too long to trust God with those circumstances. I don't know what kind of circumstances you carried in here with you, whether it's problems at home, problems at school, problems with your identity, problems trying to figure out who you want to be or who God's called you to be. But I know that if you trust God with them, He will walk you through it. He will get you to the other side. He will fight those battles on your behalf and lead you to a place of rest, of comfort, and of breakthrough. And finally, breakthrough comes when we remember what God has done. We as a people suffer from recency bias. And I'll tell you, it's never been more prevalent than right now. 2020 felt like our whole life. We keep saying we can't wait to get back to normal, but I don't think most of us even remember what normal was. Because those circumstances feel like they've lasted forever. But the truth is they haven't. It was 1 year, right? But all of a sudden it clouds our minds, it clouds our judgment. Every decision that we make is through the lens of right now or back then. But God has been so faithful in our lives. And He has proven Himself time and time again. And collective, we're on the verge of breakthrough. We all feel it. We all feel it happening. We all have the, but God is bigger than where we are. He's bigger than our circumstances. We all end up in circumstances that are beyond our control, but there aren't any that are beyond his, because the things that are outside of our abilities are in his wheelhouse. That's what God does. He shows up. He takes your brokenness and turns it into something beautiful. He takes all the things that are falling apart or in and around you, and he puts them back together in such a way that's better than it was at first. The sum of the parts, it's not as good as the whole, right? He said and there was. He says and there is. No matter what you're going through, he's done it before. And he'll do it again. So is there anybody here that is ready for a breakthrough? And is there anybody here that's willing to do whatever it takes to experience that breakthrough in your life? Because I know that it's coming. And I know that it's here right now. If we get honest about where we are, if we surround ourselves with the right people, if we trust God with our circumstances and we remember what he's done, then breakthrough will happen. So here's what we're going to do. That story continues, and in the very next chapter, Israel finds themselves, it switches back to being about Elisha, and Israel finds themselves in this battle with, guess who? Aram, same people. I don't know how long had passed, and sometimes 2 Kings isn't really written in chronological order. It's kind of topical. And so I don't know if it was right after, like, oh my gosh, they just forgot that this guy healed their greatest soldier. Anyway, they find themselves in this battle. And Elisha and his servant are kind of leading the charge with this battle, and they're going, and all of a sudden, they find themselves surrounded by enemy soldiers. And the servant, Elisha's servant, looks up and goes, this is not good. We're about to get killed. And Elisha prays, God, I pray that you would open his eyes so that he can see that we are greater than they are. And all of a sudden, the servant looks up and he sees that, yes, they're surrounded by enemy soldiers, but those enemy soldiers are surrounded by the armies of God. And they go into this battle and they win it handily because God fought for them. And so here's what we're going to do today. Sometimes our circumstances feel like battles. They feel like these big things that are crushing us. And we feel surrounded by them. We feel surrounded by our circumstances. But the truth is that we are surrounded by the love of God. We are surrounded by our Savior. We are surrounded by Jesus. Let's go, right? But we forget. We forget. And like this dude Naaman, he took dirt home so that he would remember. And so I pray that as we continue on this weekend, that this would not be a hype moment that made you feel some emotional feeling, but it would be the beginning of your trust and your path forward to knowing that God fights for you at every step of the way. So here's what I want us to do. During this worship time, I want you to get honest about where you are. If that means finding a coach and saying, I'm struggling with this, do that. Get honest with where you are. Surround yourself with the right people. Get the support that you need. Trust God with those circumstances. Literally say out loud, God, I am struggling with this, but I trust you. I trust you to fight my battles for me. And then what I want you to do is commit to remembering. Commit to remember what God has done in and through you, not only in this moment, but through your whole life. We've got these jars of dirt up here to just symbolize what Naaman did. He literally took earth from a moment with God, from a place of a moment with God. He took it home, and every time he saw that, he remembered that moment. He remembered what God did in his life. He remembered the healing that he experienced. And so come up, grab one of these, and just remember what God has done. As you do, I'm going to pray, and then we're going to head into worship. God, we love you. We thank you for who you are. God, we thank you that you are the God of breakthrough. And that the circumstances that are beyond our control are right in your wheelhouse. God, we love you. We trust you. And we'll never forget. Amen.
There's a table that you prepared for me in the presence of my enemies. It's your body, your blood you shed for me. This is how I fight my battles. There's a table may look tough. We may be depressed, we may feel anxious, we may feel alone and not a part of the groups we want to be a part of, but we are surrounded by a God who loves us. And every single one of us are a part of His family, and we're His kids. It may look like I'm surrounded,
sing like you believe. Let's go. Come on.
Tell
Him that you believe that this is true.
It may look like I'm surrounded, but I'm surrounded by you.
Let's go. Come on.
It may look like I'm surrounded, but I'm surrounded by you.
We're surrounded by the love of a heavenly Father.
It may look like I'm surrounded, but I'm surrounded by you.
Come on.
It may look like I'm surrounded, but I'm surrounded by you.
We are not alone because of Jesus.
It may look like I'm surrounded, but I'm surrounded by you. It may look like I'm surrounded, but I'm surrounded by you. It may look like I'm surrounded,
is no shadow. Come on, put your hands together. Ever overcome your life, and there is no rival that could ever stand against your might. You've always been with us. Come on. Every battle you've already won. There's no weapon that can attack us. Here we go. There is no weapon, come on, that has ever left its mark on you. And there is no army with the power to conquer truth. You've always been with us. Come on. Every battle you've already won. You've already won. Show me one thing he can't do. Show me one thing he can't do. Show me a mountain he can't move. He's the God of the breakthrough. Anything is possible. Come on, we believe. Show me one thing that's too hard. Show me waters he can't part. He's the God of the breakthrough. Anything is possible. Woo! There is a kingdom, that's advancing at the speed of light. And in this kingdom, every dead thing is bound to rise. Oh God, our Redeemer, He is faithful to revive. Oh, He will revive. Here we go. Show me one thing He can't do. Show me a mountain He can't move. He's the God of the breakthrough. Anything is possible. Come on, we believe. Show me one thing that's too hard. Show me waters He can't part. He's the God of the breakthrough. Anything is possible. It's possible. Here's the deal. It doesn't mean that we won't be scared. But you know what He said? He said, I have overcome the world. There's nothing you need to fear. Praise. Shake off the fears as I sing out your name. A victory dance I will dance out in faith. I will crush disappointment and break every chain. Now all of my fear I will turn into praise. Shake off despair as I sing out your name. A victory dance I will dance out in faith. I will crush disappointment and break every chain. Oh, all of my fear I will turn into praise. Shake off despair as I sing out your name. A victory dance I will dance out in faith. I will crush disappointment. Show me one thing He can't do. Show me one thing He can't move. He's the God of the breakthrough. Anything is possible. We believe. Show me one thing that's too hard. Show me waters He can't part. He's the God of the breakthrough. Anything is possible. It's possible. This is where we just have some fun. You guys can out jump me. Come on.
All right, you guys know this one. You ready to have a dance party? Dance party for Jesus? Come on, let's go. I've lived my life to the limit, and I'm at the end of myself. I see the end, but I know being Lord. what you
right
got?
now.
I wanna love you like you love me.
Who's
I
got
wanna
the
love
best
you like you
moves?
love me.
We're gonna look for the best moves. Come on. Here we go. Whoever's got the best moves is gonna finish the song on stage. Let's see it. Show me what you got. Come on. I gotta see it. I gotta see some moves.
I want to see the Empire Strike Back.
Okay.
I want to see the storm brewing.
Here we go.
I
Here
want
we
to
go.
see chaos. Into you. Cause no one's gonna love me like you do. Where's the inner lion? Come on.
Where's those dance moves? Okay.
I've got nothing to lose. So I can't stop, won't stop falling into you. Alright. Falling into you. Where you at, Dynasty?
You got it.
'Cause no one's gonna love
Come on,
me
let's
like
go.
you do. Alright. I've got nothing to lose. So I can't stop, won't stop falling into you. Alright. Alright. Here we go.
Come on, Jimmy. Yeah. All right. Let's go. Thank you. Dance contestant, she did amazing.
Very nice, very
Great
nice.
job, great job. Everybody, take a seat, right?
All right, all right, all right. Hey, how's everybody doing? How many of you are excited about what God is going to be doing in your lives? Nice, nice. Now, hey, really quickly, as you guys know, okay, we have an online presence right now, right? Okay, everybody turn and say hi. Not to me. You guys looked at me and say hi. Turn to the camera and say hi. There we go. All right. Now, where's Chaos at? All right. So, I'm not lying when I say this. I'm going to show you my phone, okay? There is a guy in the chat named Evan Jones. I'll say his name. Evan Jones said this in the comments. He said, give 10,000 points to Chaos just because. So, we're going to... I know, it's all right, whatever. We're gonna honor that, Evan Jones. They're gonna get 10,000 points, so congratulations. You all should be thanking Evan Jones for that. So, yeah. All right, hey, we are gonna discuss this more in small groups, so go ahead, stand up. When you guys go to small groups, okay, you're gonna go to small groups. When you guys are done, you guys are gonna come back in here and we're gonna get ready for war, all right? We'll see you guys later.